Sonoma, round 6, and the Gen 4 car is going to fire up for 50 laps in the California sunshine. I'm Rick James, ready to bring you the green flag action. We are racing from iRacing's Sonoma. Championship leader Jake Bradley shoots out to an early lead. Aaron Edwards behind him in the number 1 Camry, and Matt Seeger in the 16 sitting in third. Clean and green through the S's. This 2-mile road course seems so much longer than that. I think Watkins Glen is longer than that. Single file, the Gen 4s snake through the S's and coming up to the hairpin. So far, so good. We're going to momentarily break away to fix a little bit of graphical error. And what's the saying? It's not a Rick James broadcast if there's not some sort of graphical error. So far, nobody's crashed. I can promise you haven't missed a single thing. And where Thursday Night Thunder has a reputation for going caution-free, we might just get that in this race. I'm not by myself in the booth. Not this week. I've got my good buddy Ryan Pennell by my side again. Ryan, welcome to Sonoma. Jake Bradley out to a 7/10 of a second lead.
Yeah, we knew he would be fast. I mean, he's been fast all year, and this is very, very technical track, so kind of expected that. But yeah, it's good to be back in the booth. We tried to win it last week at Daytona, came up a little short, but we're back in the booth till probably till May, till Talladega rolls around.
Bryce Saucier, last week's winner at Daytona in the closest Thursday Night Thunder finish in history, absent from tonight's race. At least from what I can see, he's not in tonight's roster. 19 start, 19 hope to win it. Jacob Bradley not pulling away just yet, Ryan. Aaron Edwards in the number 1, stuck behind him. Matt Seeger in second, and Ethan Winters in third. These three, Ryan, used to race in ENEA. Matter of fact, you've probably raced against a couple of these guys in years past, sitting second, third, and fourth. Special attention, Ryan, to the second place and fourth place car, Edwards and Winters, rookies.
Yeah, I mean, we have a really strong rookie class this year. It's something that we've talked about all year, but it seems like every year the rookie class just gets more and more competitive in TNT, and it's looking like that this year too. They are very, very fast.
Jake Bradley in the 5-0 sits ahead of the number 1. Not the loneliest number right now, with Matt Seeger right behind him by 0.3 of a second. Let's go on board with Aaron Edwards. Now, Ryan, it's no secret that this being your home track, it's not your favorite track in the north of California here. And look at the leader, Jacob Bradley. Ryan, he goes wide out of the S's. Aaron Edwards, new leader going into the hairpin.
Wow, what a move. I mean, that was, you don't really see Jacob Bradley make mistakes often, but that was a big one right there.
Points leader, wide out of the S's. Let's get one more look at this. Well, we'll get another look in a moment. I don't want to break away from this second place battle. Check out Toby Estes in the 8. He's starting to come up through the field. Order is restored amongst the podium positions. This is the points leader, Jacob Bradley, going off out of the S's. And Ryan, it looks like I think he just got comfortable with the race car and just hung it out.
Yeah, sent it just a little too hard, and that'll happen, especially in that turn. That's a tough turn to take.
It's a lot of turns. How many turns do we have here? I don't know. That tiny map doesn't tell me anything, but it's
It's too many.
It's a lot.
Way too many.
It's a lot.
I think it's 11 or 13. I can't remember, but
we're not famous for being good at numbers. We're not famous at all, but we're just not good at numbers. That's a fact. At the front of this race, Aaron Edwards not able to pull away, but now Jacob Bradley, knowing what that, not penultimate, but knowing what that right-hander, the exit of the S's, does, I think he's going to have more caution going into the corner, but Aaron Edwards needs to have that same caution as well, because Jacob Bradley's one of the strongest drivers on the track. If it happens to Bradley, it could happen to anybody.
Yeah, for certain. And Matthew Seeger running in third, I mean, he's had a pretty clean race so far too, and it's one of those deals. I mean, we've talked about it all year long. When is that 16 car going to get his first win? He's been so close, and he's right there in the hunt tonight as well.
The GameStop Chevrolet now sits behind JB, Jacob Bradley, that points leader. And if my math is right, 21 points is the difference between Jacob Bradley and our Charlotte winner, Bren Roberts, the 84 machine, running 6th in position right now. And if I'm Bren Roberts, I see the leader coming off. Ryan, I'm sitting pretty. He sits in 6th. Jacob Bradley's in 2nd. Bren Roberts does not need to push the issue while he still has control of this championship fight. At the front, 2/10 is the gap, and Jacob Bradley goes to the inside. He wants that lead again. The Hoosier goes to the outside of what is now the penultimate corner. Aaron Edwards with the advantage. Out of that final corner, they will drag race to the line, and by 2/100ths, Aaron Edwards leads that lap. Edwards still in this championship fight. Still, look at that, half a car length to lead the race. Up the hill, Edwards cuts off Bradley. Ryan, the 50, still in 2nd after a frustrating fight, and Matt Seeger wants a piece of the 50, Ryan.
Yeah, the more the 16 sees these two battling in front of him, I mean, he's just loving it, because he's just kind of riding, not using his stuff up, just hoping that they make a mistake, and he's in a really good spot right now. You always, in road courses, it's a good thing to be in third, especially with these two battling each other. Yep, right there.
But the tide changed just like that. I'm looking at my notes here, Ryan. Lap number, lap 3? Jacob Bradley goes off the track. It's lap 6. And I know I'm only talking about 2 positions, but Ryan, it's a 21-point lead that Bradley carries here. And Bren Roberts is closer now to Jacob Bradley on the racetrack than Jacob Bradley is to Aaron Edwards.
Yeah, every position matters. I mean, I know y'all get tired of us probably saying that, but it's so true. I mean, finishing 3rd versus finishing 6th, that is huge for points. And if you do that every single week, week in and week out, that point gap goes from 20s to 15s to 5s. So, yeah, every position is so important out here.
Briley Wright running in the 19th position right now. As you see, the single file train from first all the way back. It goes Edwards, Seeger, Bradley, 1, 2, 3. Briley Wright in the 2-9 running 19th. The Goodwrench Chevrolet cultivating energy, I guess. I didn't see him fall off the track. Looks like lap number 5 he had an incident, Ryan, but he's already by himself here. This is earlier. Did you see Briley fall off the track at any point?
I did not. I'm actually just now loading in, so I've been kind of just flying by the seat of my pants here, to be completely honest. We're finally loaded in, but there you see, yeah, Briley just a little too hard.
The joys of electronics and sim racing. It's all right. There was a big update to iRacing, and I think last week at Daytona, I expressed my frustrations on the stream because I couldn't load all the cars in a race because I had my my settings turned up to 1,000, turned it up to 11, and my frame rate was terrible. I couldn't see all the cars. I ruined everything. So this week, I dialed my graphics settings back just a bit. I think it still looks pretty good, and now we can load all the cars and have at least 30 frames on the screen. Dustin Painter in the chat says, Briley's doing us proud, bringing up the rear. Shout out Emily, who's in the chat earlier as well. She's cheering for Matt Seeger. Ryan, You know, it's like calling a perfect game. You don't want to talk about it, and we're only 8 laps into this race. But the fight for the lead is now going in Seeger's direction.
Yeah, he's definitely got some speed, and you know, again, don't know what tire wear is looking like for the leaders out there, but he's in a really good spot. Also, I saw Dustin Painter's comment before he talked about Briley. He said he'll miss me finishing last on the road course today, so I appreciate you, Dustin. Really, really great motivation.
Edwards gets squirrely out of the hairpin. Bradley also shaking his tail feathers in the number 50. 8 laps complete under the Sonoma sun. Cars 1:16.50, running 1, 2, 3. 9 laps underway. In our 50-lap race, 99 miles. This is only the 3rd time, I think, in the iRacing era that we've run here, and we were covering earlier in the drivers' meeting that in the 2 previous races, one of them, when Aiden Norman won, went on to win the champion. So that means absolutely nothing coming into this race because the rookie class is so strong, and it looks like right now it's going to be Edwards, Bradley, possibly Seeger. But further on back, you've got drivers like Seth Wansing, Nick Pressey, Tom Sears, not road course aces, but you can't count them out anywhere. And I'll ask you this, Ryan. Excluding the top 3, who genuinely has a chance to win this race?
I'd put some money on Toby. I mean, he is fast. He's gotten way faster on road courses over the past couple years. It looks like he actually might be making a move on winners right now. So I think Toby's got a good shot to get up there and battle. And what a great car and great paint scheme he's running.
It looks good, doesn't it? That black number 8 just gleaming in the sun. That was a Talladega paint scheme, I think. And you tell me, because you might know more than I think that Martin Truex might have run a Busch Series car that looked like this before Junior ran it in the Cup Series, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. I know Truex had a lot of really good schemes, and then he had the one car that he ran in the Cup Series for a while that had so many great schemes also. But yeah, that's a sharp car. I mean, like you said, the sun coming off that car. I mean, I think Toby's got a good shot. I know he's still in 4th, but he's right there where if anybody makes a mistake, he's going to be in a really good spot.
He's not in a position just yet to pass the points leader, Jacob Bradley, but over the last 5 laps, you can see that Toby has been consistently chipping away at Bradley. Now, I don't know if that's because Jacob is saving his stuff and just kind of given the mistakes that he's made so far. Maybe Jacob's going to wait until the pit stop, then come out swinging. But this is Toby Esta's chance to really see what the points leader's made of. He's right there, Ryan. He almost had a pass.
Yeah, Jacob went a little bit hot right there into that turn, and Toby's there. I mean, I think he can set it up this next corner if he wants to. He's not going to, but he is right there. He can make a move.
On board with this fight right here, Jacob Bradley, obviously you can't count him out. However, this is very unlike what we expect from him. It's 7/10 between him and Matt Seeger, and Briley Wright starting to pressure the points leader. Now, Ryan, I think we have a pit stop coming up in about 20-ish laps, possibly less. I mean, from here, Jacob Bradley has plenty of race to go, but what adjustments would you make if you're the driver in the 50 car?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll probably see... Oh, he goes wide there at the end. Toby's right beside him now, side by side with him coming to the start-finish line. Oh, Toby backs off. Wisely.
Toby did not have to push the issue. The black number 8 Budweiser machine, Toby Estes from Greensboro, Kentucky, behind Jacob Bradley, our Indianapolis winner. Further on back, Ryan, the Season 4 champion, Thomas Andrews, looks like he's 2 seconds behind Colin and McDonough here. They were much closer. Tristan Catania's gone around in the SpongeBob machine, Ryan. He sits in 17th. Briley Wright now moving into 18th, just getting around John Honeybrink. And Ryan, he's through the leaders now, the 2-9 car in the mix.
Yeah, and that's not where Briley wants to be. I know he has a lot of speed. He's also one of those that has really improved on road courses this past year. So just not a good start. And like you said earlier, very unlikely we have a caution here. So just a tough day for that 29 car.
Thursday Night Thunder rules constitute 2 cars spitting, crashing, if you will constitute a caution. So if 2 cars do make contact and spin, the caution will come out. If 1 car goes around and the track is blocked in front of the leaders, we may throw a caution as well. But again, just to elaborate on what Ryan said, we don't expect to see a caution. 13 laps are underway so far. Toby Estes still on the attack, Ryan. It looks like he's really trying to size up the points leader. He's going for it.
Yeah, he is. I mean, and every time it looks like he has a chance to set up the pass, and he kind of just backs off. So I think he might just kind of be saving his stuff right now. He knows he's a little bit quicker than Bradley. He's just waiting for him to make a real big mistake, and then Toby will be there to overtake him.
It is a patient game. It is a 99-mile race, and running it at 1:17 a lap, you're going to be, we're looking at potentially an hour to an hour 10 of racing here. So there is plenty of time to make your attack. And Ethan Winters, the rookie in the 10 car, he sees puffs of smoke coming from the number 8 car. He now starts to pressure. And Ryan, what's going to happen here is that with Winters pressuring the backside of the 8 and the 8 pressuring the backside of the 5-0, we're going to have an accordion effect here where Winters could end up leapfrogging into 3rd. And meanwhile, the leaders are still, 6/10 apart. So the top 5 all battling within itself.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of watching Jacob Bradley because I really do think he might be saving, or was saving. I tell you who's not saving is Matthew Seeger in that 16 car. He is now right on the back bumper of Edwards, but Jacob Bradley right there. I think Jacob may have hit a switch here. I think you may see him coming into this race lead battle here.
Riding through the S's with the Jimmy Johnson Lowe's 5-0 of Jacob Bradley. And the GameStop Chevrolet, Matt Seeger. Sitting in second, the black, and, sitting in second is Matt Seeger. Sitting in first is the Logitech number 1 Camry. The True Force machine, if you're looking from Matt Seeger's end of things. Aaron Edwards, who's led the most laps so far, coming up around the SpongeBob SquarePants, 48. And
it's a bad place to catch a lap car, too.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm seeing Tristan just go through that first corner. I'm hoping everybody makes it clean and green through there, and they do. 48 now behind the 16, and Tristan trying to stay on the track, but also trying to stay out of everybody's way, doing his very best. And Toby Estes now trying to go through the corner. You hope that all the leaders make it through without harm, and they do. 15 laps underway at Sonoma. Ryan, looking at Bren Roberts, he's down 5 places from where he started. Well, 4 now, because it looks like Tom Sears has come into the pits. And shout out to Stuss Gaming. Tom Sears coming in on lap number 15 now. That's well before the predicted track facts of 30 to 35 laps. So are we looking at 2 stops here, Ryan? How far did the drivers really expect to make it?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I think Bryn pit also. Unless he had an issue, because I know he was up there pretty high up. My iRacing live timing's not loading, of course, but yeah, I don't know what happened to Bryn. He may have pitted, but yeah, that seems awfully early. I was thinking maybe they would cut it in half, like come lap 25. But hey, they're out there. They know what they're doing, I guess. I don't, so.
So my theory is this, and Bren Roberts did come in on lap number 12 to answer your question. You are 100% correct. My theory is the following. They're going to make it 2 stops, Roberts and Sears, but they're going to drive extremely hard on these 2 stops, where drivers trying to make it on 1 stop obviously are going to be slow between lap 25 and 30 and slow from lap 45 to 50. So there's going to be a balance of power and speed between drivers going 2 stops, drivers going 1. I'll tell you what, Bren Roberts, 1:17.48. He just went green, and he's coming up on rookie Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, it's a good strategy. I don't know. I mean, if you have to pit twice and everyone else is only pitting 1 time, that's a lot of time. This pit road is really slow, and you have to. I mean, you have to go around that whole corner, basically, not at pit road speed, but you definitely have to slow down. So that's a lot of time there. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on Tom Sears and Bren Roberts and see if it works out for them.
Seth Wanting also decides to come into the pits, and the pride of Kansas City brings that Nicorette machine down into the pits, and the chrome-rimmed number 9 slows it down. Nicholas Pressey from Brooklyn is also in, so Chuck Sweeting will now climb through the ranks. We were just watching him by himself, and he's going to keep on going up. Edwards, the leader, with Matt Seeger flying on 2 wheels behind him. Ryan, that GameStop machine does not quit, but those tires are going to be worn by the time he needs to come in.
Yeah, and this is the part of the run where the tires are just used up. I mean, they've all been pushing pretty hard here, and these tires are definitely way past temperature. So we'll have to keep an eye and see it, and it could be whoever pits first may end up winning this race. It's just, this is what's cool about strategy. I mean, a lot of people don't like road courses, but man, there's a lot of strategy and a lot of good racing going on right now.
The 16 machine curls around the hairpin. 0.3 of a second the gap. Looking at Tom Sears and Seth Wanting, who are out on the racetrack with fresh rubber and enough fuel to go another 12 to 16 laps. They battle for 8th. And Ryan, if I'm Matt Seeger, I just don't know if I want to keep on pressuring the way that he has been. Not to say that, obviously, that he's not capable, but the way that he's attacking those rumble strips and sliding out of the hill, he's going to be liable to make a mistake on the way into the pits.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is the brake bias is huge here coming down pit road, because obviously you have to adjust your brake bias with these turns, and then when you come to pit road, if you don't change it, it could be an issue. You could get into, the biggest thing is you're going to make contact with that wall, making that sharp turn right before the commitment line. So I'm just interested to see if I'm the 16 and that one car comes down pit road. I think I follow them, stay on the same strategy.
How about the one? Aaron Edwards skids right into the hairpin. One car showing off right in front of the 16, and Matt Seeger might smell blood in the water. The Georgian now goes on the hunt. Let's go on board with the 1-6. One car almost flying off in that first corner. Ryan, I don't know if Edwards is shook or if Seeger is just really throwing the pressure.
Yeah, I think Edwards is, I mean, he drove pretty hard early on, and they're coming up on some lap traffic now. But yeah, his tires do not seem happy. Good job by the 96, getting out of the way, staying out of the way. Classy move there.
You know, Larry Eberhard is also a rookie in TNT, and by the stats, you wouldn't put a lot of money on Larry to win a race. However, as somebody who just takes like a fish to water, learns the vibe of Thursday Night Thunder and just gels with the rest of the drivers, Larry plugs away and he races like a gentleman. He races like a damn gentleman. Hats off to Larry Eberhard. You know what, as far as rookie of the year, if it was my call, I'd give it to this guy right now. I like Larry Eberhard, and I'll tell you what, at these plate races, there's a driver that I would expect. Because you know what, Ryan? He's that strong silent type, I think. We don't know too much about him. Again, rookie, haven't really talked to him too much, but I want to talk to him more. I want to learn more from him. But you raced with him in Daytona last week. Did he say anything at all in that driver's chat?
I don't think I heard him speak one word the entire time. So yeah, definitely a very silent type, but I mean, just the respect. I mean, that goes a long way. And I'm telling you, when we go to Talladega in whatever it is, May, us drivers, we pay attention to that. And I promise you, if that 96 car's in front of me and he's got a shot to win it, I remember, these things that he does like there, just moving out of the way. He knows no sense in holding up Feemster. I mean, that respect goes a long way as a driver.
Shout out my man Larry. It's good that we have these guys here. It's good that we have these rookies that genuinely want to be a part of this growing field every year, and Larry's a big piece of that. Tommy Withers in the number 60 Winn-Dixie machine, being scored as the 6. He's one lap off the pace, and the incorrectly numbered 6-0 sits behind Briley Wright to the tune of 1 second. So even for 15th, we're still seeing battles on the racetrack. Toby Estes, Ryan, sits, 0.6 of a second behind Ethan Winters. The top 5 still yet to pit, though.
Yeah, and I noticed Jacob Bradley now in second. So Seeger, I don't know. I didn't see him have an issue, but he's now 3 seconds back from the leader, at least from what iRacing is showing me. So I don't know. I think he just pushed too hard, or maybe he had an issue. I'm not sure.
We just saw Matt Seeger briefly go off the racetrack there as well, and I think what we were saying earlier, where Matt Seeger is pushing the car very hard, I think that's now caught up to him. I think the tires have started to give up. Let's have another look at Matt Seeger going off the track here, and then I think a couple cars, Ryan, further back had some incidents as well. You see Seeger just continues to attack the rumble strips. And Ryan, great aggressive style by Matt Seeger, but it's clearly just burnt up the tires too early.
Yeah, and now Toby is actually catching him as well as Ethan Winters in the 10. So, yeah, if I was him, I would come down pit road as soon as I can, get fresh tires on that thing, and try and get some speed back out on the racetrack.
John Honeybrink and Tommy Withers having to hit the brakes and slow up big time in the hairpin. And Matt Seeger comes down to a halt. At the front, Aaron Edwards, Jacob Bradley, nose to tail. The points leader, a rookie, behind the race leader, 4th in the points, 178 markers, and he's tied with Briley Wright. Ryan, that's going to be a big shift in that tie for 4th place. But Aaron Edwards, he looks to be, I think, 8 points ahead of behind Matt Seeger, excuse me. So we could see a leapfrog here from 4th into 3rd.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's had this race. As drivers, we know when we see the schedule, we know which races, we circle them and go, okay, this is my shot to make up some points. This is my shot to have a really good finish. And I'm sure he had this one circled from the release of the schedule. He's really fast and now coming down pit road.
Aaron Edwards is going to bring the number 1 Logitech machine into the pits. Toby Estes, Ethan Winters also into the pits. Jake Bradley, the Indiana pilot, up the hill through 1 and 2. He continues to climb through 3 and 4. Last time around, Jacob Bradley, 1:18.46. Bren Roberts, 1:17.97. So the BB&T machine running 5th, half a second quicker than the leader. Matt Seeger, he's about to put in his first hot lap since the pit cycle. He comes across the line, Ryan, and the clock says 1:40.05. What in the world happened to Matt Seeger? Must not be a hot lap. You know what,
Yeah, I don't think so. I hope not.
You know what it is? I think the timing is just messed up because of where your pit stall might be on the racetrack. because the start-finish line is at an odd place, isn't it, at the racetrack? So
Yep.
I suppose we'll count this as Matt Seeger's first hot lap. It might take you 2 laps to get underway. So, Ryan, that leaves 4 cars now that have yet to pit as Thomas Andrews comes in. So race leader Jacob Bradley, Floridian Richie Catania also coming in. He's no longer on that list. Tommy Withers in the incorrectly numbered 6-0 Winn-Dixie machine. And John Honeybrink in the NVIDIA number 20. They've got to be gambling on the ultra-rare road course caution at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing to keep in mind is Bryn Roberts in second. Oh, Toby just went off track.
Toby Estes, race-winning contender in our favorite number 8 Budweiser machine, goes off the racetrack. Let's have a look. This is through the S's, Ryan, and he spun hard.
Yeah, just pushing it too hard through the S's, unfortunately.
Oh, and you know, Ryan, it looks like he attacked the rumble strip really funny. Like his car just reacted awfully to that rumble strip here. Yeah, look at that. The car almost just bounces off the hill like he didn't carry enough momentum sideways into the hill to ride above the rumble strip, and it spun his race car. So the Budweiser machine sitting in 7th with 2-time TNT champion Tom Sears behind him in 8th. Missouri's Seth Wansing up 4 places from where he started in 5th. Ethan Winters behind him. Ryan, we're going to talk all season about these impressive rookies, but the number 10 Fanatec machine dives to the right-hand side of the Nicorette Chevrolet, and he pulls away out of the 90-degree right-hander. This guy is something special.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we really haven't talked much about him throughout the season. He's kind of just that driver that just, you don't really expect him to be there, but you look up and there he is in, 4th or 5th, and that's the drivers that are dangerous, because they don't have the speed where, like Jacob Bradley, we've been talking about him all year. Ethan Winters is just there. He's just knocking off top 5 finishes, and a great race so far here at Sonoma for him.
5th place in the number 10 machine. And Aaron Edwards just went green, 1:17.43. Shout out Frydog, who's in the chat. And I think, Frydog, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's actually from Northern California. This might be his home track. And the number 1 chucks up puffs of smoke, Ryan. And the number 1 so far has not made any sort of mistakes. But when you're going the distance on your pits, for example, as Jacob Bradley finally comes in on lap 25, like you say, he's going to split it evenly. You have to take care of the tires. Whenever you see one of these guys going on the one-stop strategy, you see smoke coming from the tires, and you're thinking, that's going to cost him.
Absolutely. And, Bryn Roberts, I was going to talk about this before Toby spun out. He ruined my talking point, but Bryn Roberts is in 2nd right now. He should take the lead since Jacob Bradley's on pit road. He's got Aaron Edwards right on his tail, but I think if he stretches the fuel, he can make it, because he came down, I believe, on lap 15. You're looking at about 35 laps to make it to the end. It's going to be close, but Bryn Roberts can make it, but he's definitely going to have to save and probably going to lose 2 or 3 spots out here.
The 84 now with a mirror full of the number 1. New leader, the Charlotte winner and the BB&T Chevrolet, Bryn Roberts. I cringe because I see the 1 car of Aaron Edwards almost smack the wall. Can you imagine your race going up in smoke in an instant like that? But that's racing, isn't it? And that's one of the characters of Sonoma. This is turn number 4, I think, where drivers hop over the curb, Ryan, and then you're essentially facing head on to the wall, and you have to turn the wheel hard to the right to avoid crashing. 1 car on the prowl.
Yeah, he's there, and I mean, he's got fresher tires than Bryn by several laps, and he's going to make the pass right here. Well, not quite.
Bryn Roberts with the hard D out of the hairpin, and he's going to lead out of the final left-hander. He will lead lap number 25. And we're on the back 9. 24 laps to go up the hill with the sun raining down. on Bren Roberts. Second place in the points, by the way. Bren doesn't need to panic, Ryan. We're only in round 6 out of 15. 21 points behind is a great place to be, considering that, 4 out of the last 5. Look at this. Bren Roberts and the one. Somebody's going to hit that wall, Ryan. I'm going to finish my point here, but somebody is going to hit that wall and destroy their race. New leader for now, car number 1. What a pass. What a circumstance. But I digress painfully. I'm sorry. I'll shut up. The 21-point gap is not a bad place to be, considering that 4 out of the last 5 championships were decided with 2 races to go.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time. I mean, if you're Bren Roberts right now, the main thing is you just got to make sure that you can make it to the end and not have to stop again. So whatever you have to do to save fuel, even if you lose a couple more spots, that's okay. But if you come down pit road and you finish 13th or 14th, that's going to be a bad day for the 84.
84 almost lost it through the S's again. And Ryan, the S's are such a difficult section because it is very much rhythm-based. We'll go on board with one of the leaders here in a moment. Matter of fact, we'll go on board with somebody that we haven't visited yet with today. We've seen from Chuck Sweeting. We've seen from Kevin Feemster. How about Colin McDonough? We've seen nothing of the 39 here. He's about to go through the S's, Ryan, and you tell me how important the rhythm is here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you don't have that rhythm just right, not only will it affect your S's, but it'll affect your attack into that hairpin, the turn 11 or 13, whichever one we decide is the correct number. I mean, it will screw your whole back end of the lap up. It really does. So rhythm is so important here. That's why it's so important when you're in the race chat to, for no one to be talking, because you got to be dialed in and just be focused on hitting your mark every single turn.
On board when Colin McDonough through the final section. Ryan, listen to the way he feathers that throttle. So delicate and just downshifting so gingerly up the hill. This is the style of a driver who's focused on just not crashing. And as funny as that sounds, this is that survivalist skill. You go faster or you lose less time by driving slower and staying on the racetrack. Isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. I am the first to tell you that I am not fast at road courses, and all I do is just stick to a rhythm, make sure I keep it on the racetrack, and at the end of the day, you'll be in, 10th or 11th, and that's where the 39's running right now, is in 11th. So, yeah, very, very important just to keep it on the racetrack and keep it out of trouble. But Jacob Bradley, he's right there on Bren Roberts' tailpipe.
Car number 50 now rolling on the outside of the 84 through the tight right-hander before the hairpin. Ryan 5-0 is going to scoot into the second position, and points leader Jacob Bradley now in a gaining position above Bren Roberts. Once again, there's the fight. 21 markers between first and second. The 50 car, Jacob Bradley. And what I think, Ryan, is the Jimmy Johnson Foundation machine. Maybe somebody who's actually paying attention to the race can tell me, but I think that's the Jimmy Johnson Foundation car.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Great looking paint scheme, and I think Clint Boyer drove the BB&T machine as well. Didn't he? I think he almost won at Talladega with this paint scheme, or he did win at Talladega with this paint scheme. I'm not sure.
I think he did not, because I actually saw a thing where if NASCAR threw the caution like they do now, he would have won that race, but he ended up not winning that race in real life. So there's you a fact.
I think that was also one of the years where we had tandem drafting. I think it was Jimmy Johnson and another Hendrick car versus Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon in one of the closest ever finishes. I could be making this up. If someone in the chat knows more than me, which is extremely likely, please put it in the chat. Let me know. And shout out to Frydog in the chat talking about how Northern California is very green right now. We were saying that earlier, that if NASCAR would race here in the spring, I think it'd be one of the prettiest races you could put together. Probably a lot of rain in the area too, so it would make for some really thrilling racing. And now a thought occurred. Can you do racing in the rain with a Gen 4 car?
I don't think so, not yet. But I think it'd be a great thing to add. And iRacing really needs to scan this track in the spring. I feel like it would be great for broadcast as well. Just that beautiful green grass instead of, I mean, it looks like a desert out here. Like, come on, what are we doing, iRacing?
I mean, technically, I don't think it is a. It's not a desert, is it? It's a valley.
No,
It's a hilly,
yeah.
mountainous area.
It'd still be prettier with green grass.
It would be gorgeous with green grass. There is no doubt. Seeing the iRacing, how about watching Toby Estes, this gorgeous black Intimidator machine amongst the green hills of Sonoma? That would be something to see. Aaron Edwards, 2.9 seconds ahead of Jacob Bradley.
Yeah, and Seth and Bryn Roberts did have to come down pit road, so Seth's in 10th now, and Bryn, I think's in 7th, if my timing's correct. But so they're on that strategy, like you said, a two-stop strategy. Now they can come out here and turn really, really fast lap times, but still, unless we have a late race caution, I just don't think it's going to be enough.
Jacob Bradley just went purple, 1:17.02, compared to Aaron Edwards last time around, 1:18 flat. 1 second, the difference between second and first. That last time around, Jacob Bradley is made out of something strong. Ryan, here he comes. 19 laps remain. And remember, Jacob Bradley pitted on lap 25. Aaron Edwards pitted on lap 22. So Aaron has to save fuel, or at least, plan for what, 28 laps, if my math is right.
28. Yeah, I just don't see how, Aaron has ran a great race, but with the difference in speed, Jacob Bradley's going to be there. Now, getting to him is one thing. Passing him, it's a different story.
And I'll tell you what, if Bradley knew what the deficit was going to... I'm sorry, not Bradley. I'm talking about Aaron Edwards. If I'm Aaron Edwards and I pit on lap 22, he knew this a long time ago. He knew this on lap 22 when he made that pit stop. If he's saving those extra however many laps he needs, he would have been saving it to this point where Jacob Bradley now has caught up to him. Let him catch up and get right up to your bumper. Now, if Aaron Edwards has saved the necessary fuel, which is difficult, but if he has, or at least gotten closer, Ryan, he can play the role of the hare. He now can go like a bat and force Jacob Bradley to use his stuff to chase Aaron Edwards.
Absolutely, and another thing you got to keep in mind is there's 3 lap cars right up here. Obviously, the 96, we know he's going to get out of the way, but let them get up here to, I believe it's Feemster and Tom Sears and Seth Wansing. They're not going to get out of the way like Larry Eberhardt just did, and that's what could cause some issues for Aaron and Jacob Bradley, because they're going to have to get around these guys and not lose time.
The fight for the lead is now reduced to 0.8. Jake Bradley trying to get closer to Aaron Edwards. Edwards winning at Martinsville 2 weeks ago. And now trying to get closer to the points leader. Just 1 point at a time. Coming into this race, these are not live standings. Coming into this race, Aaron Edwards... God, Ryan, I can't do math. What in the world is 210 minus 178? Somebody do the math for me. I can't. I don't know why I can figure this out. What, 32? 32, there it is. I can do that. 32 points is the difference between first and fourth right now, and it's a lot less than that on the racetrack. I think Kevin Feemster's on his way into the pits. Aaron Edwards trying to stay in the lead, Ryan.
Yeah, and I wish that he had a little bit more on the tires, but the 3 laps, it's just, and just the skill of Jacob Bradley. I mean, but like I said, I knew that Jacob was going to catch him, but passing him, that's a different story. It could be tough, especially with some lap cars here in front of him. So I don't know. I think Aaron's in a good spot. He's just got to be very, very defensive here to try and keep that 50 car behind him.
100%. There's no doubt that Aaron Edwards can stay in the lead, but he now has to switch his focus. If he was saving, he's got to use a bit more of what he was saving and now play some defense, because the 50 car is there, Ryan. He's in the shadow as they come through the hill.
Yeah, and as a driver that you know the guy behind you is faster, it's okay if you have 4 or 5 laps, but there's 16 laps to go, coming to 15. That is a long time around Sonoma, so that's something to keep in mind as well. That's a lot of time he's got to be defensive.
Across the center of your screen, and as Ryan just told you, 16 ticks down to 15. If you just tuned in, there's been a couple of incidents, but no cautions so far. This is the fight for the lead that you see. Aaron Edwards, 0.6 of a second ahead of the points leader, Jacob Bradley. Matt Seeger, one of the race-winning contenders before his lap 30 pit stop, finds himself in the 5th position. Bren Roberts, who is second in points, finds himself 35 seconds behind the fight for the lead, and only a caution now could bring these cars back together. Mind you, Bren Roberts did last pit on lap 30. His tires will be 8 laps more fresh than Aaron Edwards, 5 laps more fresh than Jacob Bradley. Ryan, that may not be a 35-second difference, but if a yellow does come out, Bren Roberts may not have to pit.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious, because again, my live timing not working. What do you have as far as the 10 of Winters? When did he pit last? Because he just came down pit road, and I thought he was kind of on the same strategy as some of these leaders. I'm just curious what he had.
Ethan Winters last came down, Ryan, lap 35. There's the stint length in the bottom right-hand corner. Ethan Winters pitted on lap 22, and then he pitted... he had a 22-lap stint and now a 13-lap stint. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he would pit. I'm kind of curious. I don't know if the leaders can make it, or I don't know. I'm confused, Rick.
So you actually raise a really good point, because we know that Jacob Bradley went 25 laps. He went further than anybody else on that stint. We did note that Jacob was sitting in that third and right around the cusp of the podium in that third and second position throughout that first stint. Maybe he's saving enough fuel to get to lap 25 and expecting to save more to finish this race on one stop. He's possibly playing the fuel game, but I'm just looking at...
If that's the case,
go ahead.
I mean, if that's the case, he's got this thing. I mean, I don't... Again, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not the smartest person around either, but I just saw the 10 come down. I'm like, wow, that seems strange. I don't know.
I'll give this to you about Ethan Winters. He just went purple, and he's the only driver to go under 117. 116.41 on the clock for Ethan Winters, and he just pitted on lap 34. Toby Estes also pitting on lap 34. Chuck Sweeting just went green, 117.77. He just pitted on lap 34. Maybe there's something to this. Drivers just trying to make a last dash for some fresh tires, especially considering, Ryan, that the gaps between some positions are as wide as, 8 seconds, 10 seconds. It's up to, 30, 45 seconds. There's there's reason to come down for fresh tires, but when it comes to guys like Ethan Winters, that is a risk, but we'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, I mean he's still in 5th, so I mean it's not a bad call at all from the 10 car, but yeah, just I guess he just decided, hey, I'm gonna put some fresh tires on and turn some fast laps, but I guess we'll just have to keep an eye. It's almost like 2 different races now. Edwards and Bradley kind of in their own zip code, and then Bryn and Seeger and Winters all around 36 to 48 seconds back from the leaders. So really interesting. I didn't expect that to happen at all.
12 laps remain at Sonoma. Aaron Edwards, 0.4 of a second, and closing ahead of Jacob Bradley. They will continue to fight for the final 12 laps. Winters goes green, 1:16.99. So another, well, and that's unbelievable that Ethan Winters just continues to go faster on those tires. Ryan, he's only 7 seconds behind Matt Seeger. Do you think there's enough time in the next 12 laps to catch this distance?
Oh yeah, he can. I mean, if he's running 1:16s, yeah, he'll definitely be able to catch him. I mean, that's probably the fastest we've really seen all day. Oh, Jacob Bradley's loose. Oh my goodness,
he's off.
Saved it. Oh no.
2.5 seconds and climbing. Ryan, he was there and he just went off the racetrack. Let's go quickly to Jacob Bradley and see what happened. This is on lap 39, the points leader. Oh, Ryan, through the exit of the S's, just way too hard. Let's have another look. And Ryan, he was off throttle. I don't know if this is, he just didn't expect the car to behave like this. Have a listen.
Almost as like when he downshifted it broke on him.
He cut the clutch in, Ryan. If you have a listen, he cuts the clutch in. Listen again.
Yeah,
So
I'm telling you, Rick, when you clutch these cars and you let that motor release, it will just absolutely chatter the rear end. I mean, I've done it at super speedways and even at 1.5 miles. That's exactly what happened. I didn't catch that. Good catch. I mean, he clutched it, and when he released it, all that power of the motor went straight to the rear tires, and he just lost it. Great save that he didn't spin out, but just unfortunate for the 50.
50 is going to go back to the lead as Aaron Edwards comes into the pits with what is now 10 laps to go. And Ryan, there's the risk versus the reward. So Jacob Bradley just putting the clutch in, and there's where he's saving the fuel. Go on board and have another listen. Ryan, he's cutting the clutch into a lot of these corners, and I think that's where he's saving the necessary fuel.
Yeah, and that's what's so strange is, he made it 25, so obviously you can make it 25, but you do have that extra lap because when you come to lap 50, you have 1 to go. So, yeah, this is going to be close whether the 50 can make it or not.
Have another listen. Let's see if he clutches into the right-hander again. Ryan, he does. He puts the clutch in again, going into the right-hander there, and this time, much more, well, I guess not as sharp. I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like he presses the clutch right before he gets to the corner, cuts the revs down on the engine, and before he turns the car, he gets the power back in. That way, he's not putting the power through the rear wheels as he's turning the car to the right.
Yeah, much more conservative on his clutch usage there. I mean, just he knew what happened, so he didn't clutch it as long. He let off the clutch before he kind of started turning.
Did Edwards go around Ryan? Aaron Edwards coming out of the pits. This is through the hairpin. The one car is on it. Look at him. almost drifting out of the corner. The car snaps back into place and into the hairpin, going way too hot, and almost crashing into the tires. And those iRacing tires are not soft. Aaron Edwards is very lucky to not have damaged the race car, but 31 seconds is the gap, and Aaron Edwards is not going to make this gap up in the next 9 laps. He is 2 seconds ahead of Brent Roberts, and he has the advantage on tires. Aaron Edwards needs to concentrate on keeping that car in one piece.
Yeah, and he's just hoping that the 50 runs out at this point. I mean, but unfortunately, when you're the leader and you're close on fuel and you have a 5-second lead, okay, you can't quite clutch as much. When you have a 30-second lead, I mean, Jacob Bradley can almost coast at this point and still, make up time. So he's definitely hoping that 50 runs out of fuel, but I don't see it happening, Rick.
Richie Catania kindly removes himself out of Jacob Bradley's way. Toby Estes is 0.7 of a second behind Ethan Winters. Tommy Withers is off right in front of Ethan Winters and Toby Estes, and they avoid disaster right out of the Ryan, that right-hand corner, right before the hairpin. That has produced some highlights tonight.
Yeah, it's a tough corner. I mean, it's kind of underrated as a corner that causes issues, but yeah, especially with people trying to save fuel, you clutch it, you think you can clutch it all the way in, you drop the clutch, it puts all that power to the rear wheels and it just snaps on you, and then you kind of are just along for the ride.
7 seconds the gap between Matt Seeger and Ethan Winters. Seeger briefly goes off the racetrack, and Ryan, we've seen him do this before, just flying up the hill. He's trying to take off into space, launching over those rumble strips. Larry Eberhard in the 96 Commanders Chevrolet, also with incident, and Larry just comes in hot to the right-hander. No harm done. Larry keeps it moving. Back up to the fight for 5th. Ryan, Toby Estes is right up the trumpet of Ethan Winters.
Yeah, I mean, and that's crazy because Toby, we talked about him earlier. He lost it in the S's, got it gathered back up, but stopped, for nearly 5-6 seconds. Now he's up here battling with the 10 car, trying to get him a top 5. Having a little bit of connection issues there, but hopefully he stays in it and try and get him a top 5 out of this thing.
Now, for those that don't know, iRacing recently had an update, Ryan, and we're talking about what's called packet loss here, and we call it blinking because the driver to us literally blinks, disappears from view. We saw Toby Estes blinking a bit, having those connection malfunctions, if you will. Now, explain what that's going to do to a driver in the future.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't really know a whole lot about it, but if you are blinking or you kind of disappear, iRacing has something planned to where it will automatically put that car on pit road, and you have to sit there until your internet gets fixed. So we don't know if that's a 10-minute hold or a 5-minute hold, but could really plague a lot of drivers that have some connection issues throughout iRacing.
Last season's champion, Noah Belleville, has that issue a lot, and it's here. It was released, I think, 2 days ago with this recent update. So drivers will get that warning that says packet loss in their screen. And I don't think we've experienced it in Thursday Night Thunder yet, but it is going to be a change that they have to adapt to. 5 to go. Next time by, Aaron Edwards put in his personal best, 1:17.16, over the last 5 laps. Aaron Edwards, at least a second quicker for a couple of those laps. But again, it's going to be down to fuel here. So Jacob Bradley, like you said, Ryan, he can coast to the end. Meanwhile, Toby Estes, Ryan, he pitted on lap 34. He's good to go. So is Ethan Winters, and now it's just cat and mouse to the end of this race.
Yeah, and Toby's fast, but I'm telling you, that 10 car has been bad fast today. I mean, he is, had a couple little small issues going off track, but he's been pretty consistent. But Toby's not going to give up, I promise you that.
4 to go. next time by. Let's go on board with the 8 car. Ryan Toby looks to the inside. He almost makes contact with that 10 car now side by side out of the hairpin. What a move.
Yeah, you can see the 10 car. Oh, Toby gets loose. The 10 car, the right front locked up. He was hard on the brakes. Toby almost got to him, but just not quite enough. I think you know, coming to the checkered flag, that might have been a different outcome.
We saw that happen, I think, season 5, I think.
Yeah,
what was it? Aiden Norman and
yeah, Noah. Yeah, Aiden and Noah. Great finish.
Who dove it in? Because you'll have to remind me. Was it Aiden Norman that sent it in on Noah Belleville and kind of took the win away from him going through the hairpin?
Yeah, I believe you're correct. I think that's exactly what happened.
Aiden went on to win the Thursday Night Thunder Championship that season, and it would take Noah Belleville 4 more attempts to actually run a full-time season and then win that championship. Noah Belleville was the season 9 champion, and Jacob Bradley so far leading the contention to win the season 10 championship. How about Toby Estes, Ryan? He really sends it in on Ethan Winters, and now he's going to have to do all that work to get to the back end of Winters again.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he could make it, and then the problem is you don't want to run into the guy in front of you, so you lock the brakes up. Oh, Feemster hard into the wall.
And Feemster with a huge crash right in front of second place Aaron Edwards. Kevin Feemster kindly gets out of the way, and that's 17 now in front of Brent Roberts. Let's see what happened to Kev. This is through turns 3 and 4. And he just got loose, and a lot of throttle going downhill, and he smacks that wall, and he's going to come on the track right ahead of Aaron Edwards, and Feem gets out of the way, and he's going to bring it back. Hopefully he's going to bring that thing back down into the pits. He can't finish the race like that. I think John Honeybrink also had an incident on his 36th lap of the race. The Season 4 Talladega winner coming in hot into the hairpin right ahead of the 39 of Colin McDonough. Ryan, this is a difficult racetrack.
Yeah, especially for us that don't like road courses. This is not a fun track at all.
17 of Kevin Feemster will try turns 3 and 4 a bit more ginger with that DeWalt Ford. Not for position. Brent Roberts recently just passed. I think John Honeybrink has had incident again. This time, Ryan, it's out of turn number 4, and he went off the racetrack, and now I think he's going into the 90-degree right-hander, and the NVIDIA Chevrolet is going to go for a spin. Nope, just maybe comes to a halt. He does.
Yeah, it's just staying out of the way. Good call there, but oh, Larry Eberhardt just hit the wall a little bit there.
He hit the wall a lot. That 96 is injured on the left front. Larry's going to soldier on in these final 1.5 laps. Jacob Bradley goes up the hill, gets around the Season 4 champion, and next time around it's going to be the white flag. Jacob Bradley looking to put Tom Sears a lap down, Ryan, and that will leave 7 cars of our 19-car field on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing that we have that many cars going a lap down, but just I want to bring up Thomas Andrews having a rough night and Nicholas Pressey being scored in dead last. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he's usually pretty quick at these road courses, so something happened to the 94 and the 2 car of Thomas Andrews being showed 13 laps down. Just not his night tonight.
They still soldier on, and you have to soldier on. Just for the sake of trying to stay in whatever championship hunt you can, trying to stay alive, and just for the sake of competition. The white flag will come out this time by Jacob Bradley. Has, I won't say a dominant performance. He hasn't had a dominant performance, Ryan, but a very smart performance, because in that first stint, I think a lot of the race was led by Aaron Edwards, and he really, I think, kind of allowed Jacob Bradley to save the necessary fuel in that first stint and this second stint as well. So much so, Ryan, that Jacob Bradley could fall off the racetrack in this second stint and still be 27 seconds ahead of Aaron Edwards. That is skill.
Yeah, for sure. And I know your fuel window said 30. Was it 30 to 35? I think your fuel window may have been wrong, Rick. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't think that was there.
The fuel window is never right, and you of all people know that I am not good with numbers. No, the fuel window is never right. Shout out Drip Diecast and Collectibles, who presents us the incorrect fuel window as well, as incorrectly numbered as the 6-0 of Tommy Withers. 30 to 35 laps is nowhere near the pit window. We got it wrong. Jacob Bradley didn't. Jacob Bradley got it right. With a 21 marker lead into this 6th round of competition, he will score his 3rd victory in 6 starts before next week's race at Darlington. Out of the final corner with his hat trick for the season, Jacob Bradley wins at Sonoma. 25 seconds behind, Ryan, is Aaron Edwards, who will move further ahead in the points into next week's race at Darlington. He still has to finish this race. That's how far the distance is. Aaron Edwards has not finished this race.
Yeah, crazy how 25 seconds, it feels like forever here at Sonoma, but Aaron Edwards will finish in second, and a good run by Bryn. I mean, coming home P3, not a bad finish there for the 84 machine.
Matt Seeger and Ethan Winters 1 second apart. Toby Estes will come home in 6th, just where he started. Seth Wansing up 2 places from where he started. Colin McDonough will round out the top 10, up 3 places from where he started in the number 39 machine. And it's this man here kicking up some smoke, Jacob Bradley. I think he's going to try and do a burnout on the rest of the racetrack right in front of Briley Wright, too. He ain't playing. Jake almost going into Aaron Edwards as well. Jacob Bradley will celebrate his 3rd win in style. We're going to have Bren, Aaron, Jacob on the podium in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. On the podium with our top three, starting with tonight's bronze medalist, then a driver of the number 84 machine, Bren Roberts, coming home with that bronze tonight. Bren, you started out in that fifth position, so you gained 2 spots from where you started tonight, and you had some good battles at the start of the race, but it seems like after the pit stops, everybody got really spread out, and it became difficult to pass.
Yeah, it got pretty difficult. I know I made it hard on Aaron in the middle part there. I was on older tires than him. I pitted about 10 laps earlier on the first stop than everybody, and yeah, I thought that was it was gonna be me, Jacob, and Aaron, but apparently Jacob has like bigger fuel tank. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, it was pretty fun. Hard to pass though.
Next week at Darlington, Bren, you're going to be, I think, 27 points behind Jacob Bradley. How do you fancy your chances at the Lady in Black?
I enjoyed Darlington. I think it could be anybody's race. Obviously, Jacob is super fast. I think he's got like 3 wins so far this year. So just if he keeps winning, we'll just keep chipping away at the points, hopefully, and see what happens.
Congratulations on third. Ryan, you've got our silver medalist, Aaron Edwards.
Yeah, Aaron, you had a great race. We saw you up there out front, and you had a good first half of the race. But were you saving, or were you just kind of committed to the 2-stop cycle?
Yeah, I was never really good enough to save that fuel. Just, I feel like if I was to do that, I would probably wreck it. Um, so I was kind of just banking on the 2-stop, hoping that the tire wear would, fall my way. But at the end of the race, Bradley was still turning faster laps than me, even on old tires. So I might have used him up a little bit too much to make it viable, but I did cut it from a 32-second lead to like a 26. So that's about all I had. I mean, I gave it my all, but kind of just banking on a caution there, really.
Yeah, well, you definitely made it interesting for sure. It was a good race for you. You come home in second. Um, is there was there anything? If you had to redo this race, would you try and save at the start, or did you just not have the ability to save?
Seeing as that was about probably the only way to do it, I guess I would at least try my hand at saving the fuel so that I could be closer. But honestly, once I seen that he could go way past the first pit stop number, it was pretty much over. I was just trying to maybe try and optimize the tire wear there, but led a lot of laps, made it look good for my sponsors, and I don't know. We'll move on to next week and try to win at Darlington.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. TV time for the sponsors. Good race and awesome job on your second place finish.
Yeah, thanks. Led a lot of laps. Felt really good out there.
On to our race winner, and what else can you say except dominant performance? Jacob Bradley in the 5-0. Third win this season, JB. It's a hat trick, and next week at Darlington, you go for 4 victories in 7 starts. What are the odds? What's the likelihood you're going to win next week?
I enjoy Darlington. I haven't really done much of it in the Gen 4, but should be fun to learn it next week, and I hope some of my experience there and other cars will carry me.
Did you think that your rookie season in TNT was going to be this fruitful?
It's been a while since I drove Gen 4. I didn't think I would be as competitive right out of the gate. I thought at the end I would start clicking it off, but it's definitely been a lot more competitive starting off, and it's been pretty fun to win these races.
Congratulations on a 3rd win, JB. We'll see you in a week.
Thank you.
Ryan, that's going to do it for another race in TNT. This is 6 rounds complete of the 15. It feels like the season started just a minute ago, but here we are already. We've got a clear-cut leader in the points, and next week at Darlington, it's a different sort of challenge. We've had so many different racetracks so far this season. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I love Darlington. I mean, we had the privilege of going there for one of our ARCS retreats, and it was a blast. And it's just it's a track that has so much character. It's all the turns are basically different, and I'm excited. I can't wait to call that race, and I'm sure we'll probably have some crashes along the way, but excited to call it.
As I'm pulling up the schedule, I'm also realizing I'm 100% wrong. It's not Darlington next week. It's Dover.
Oh, even better.
Even better. Dude, first of all, shout out Dakota Long, who just raided with a party of 30 different people. So thank you, Dakota Long, for that. I appreciate you. Probably, and shout out again, all the rest of ENEA, Matt Seeger, Ethan Winters, Aaron Edwards, Connor, Tanner, everybody. Thank you so much. But yeah, I don't even know my own schedule, man. This is unbelievable. As always, we've already done too much, Ryan. I think we need to say goodnight and have a drink. Thank you so much for coming out, man. We'll see you in a week.
Absolutely, buddy.
Shout out Repeat 1975 coming in as well. Shout out to the family, my brother. I love you, man. Until that next race, next Thursday night here at Dover, everybody please stay safe, take care of each other. We'll see you all around the